So your child is screaming. They're throwing things across the room. You're trying to figure out what they need, and you're just so dysregulated. What do we do? How do we help? Are they purposely just trying to be defiant to get your attention? Well, today's podcast, we have Amber and myself, Angela. We're both RDI consultants here at Ausome Match Autism Services, and we are talking about PDA, what that looks like, what it is, and how we can address it with our kiddos. One of the biggest questions we're constantly asked by parents is, why is my child trying to be defiant?
We first have to ask ourselves, what is defiance? PDA, which is the clinical term for pathological demand avoidance, or what we like to say, pervasive drive for autonomy, is a child's nervous system response saying, I can't. The difference between PDA and ODD, oppositional defiance disorder, is an I won't for ODD. PDA is an I can't, and it is a profile of autism.
So when parents are asking, is my child being defiant, or are they purposely just trying to defy me? What do we think about that? Do we feel like the child's maliciously trying to just poke mom? I don't like this idea, so I'm just gonna, throw something at her.
Chances are they're just trying to communicate.
Fair enough.
And their nervous system response is how they are communicating, whether that be fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Right. So I know you have worked with a ton of kiddos and many who have been on the PDA profile spectrum there. Do you have any good stories that you'd like to share with us?
Where do I start?
Right?
Yeah.
Which one do I choose?
Okay, so PDA being a nervous system response to like an I can't, it's all in the way of how we communicate with this child. We don't want to make them fit into our world, we want to fit into theirs. Right. So demands are quite hard. So PDA, pervasive drive for autonomy, it's any sort of demand or command or request that you're giving can initiate that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response. To help with that, comes with an understanding of how your child may react or want to be talked to or want to be shown. Some stories that I have one, this little boy that I have worked with, he was PDA profile, and he did not want to go to our learning lab. So that's like the classroom environment, right. Did not want to do any tabletop activities. And the way that I would get him to go there, in a sense where we are following my boundaries, we're respecting my boundaries, but also doing it in a way where he feels seen and safe.
Right.
With that, I would make it into a fun game. I would say, I wonder who can race to the learning lab and make it there first. Little dude doesn't want to come in last, right. Yeah. So we're racing there. And then once we get there, it's that nervous system response, kind of like, okay, now what? You got me here. But before I go into that less preferred activity, I'm going to say, let's color. Let's color first. Let's get ourselves regulated together, co-regulated.
Yes.
And so we'll color, and I'll set the timer for 5 minutes. And then when the timer goes off, and I'm giving him those, verbal reminders and showing him the timer, I'm going, okay, do you want to start and bring out the activity, or should I?
Right.
Usually he'll say me, so I'll go and bring it out. And then we're already in that co-regulated state. We're not in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and we're doing this activity together. That has helped a lot, making it a fun game, making it a positive memory bank experience, so that by the time we get to this activity, we're doing it together and we're both in a regulated state of mind.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's such a great way to do it. I love that you brought up the 4 fight, flight, freeze, and fawn approaches, because we know that any time a kid is dysregulated, it's usually one of these 4 approaches. And so some ways that we can kind of navigate through those waters of what is it that they're feeling is by identifying how we can approach it with them. So I have some ideas the best ways to support a child in each of these different fight, flight, freeze responses. So when a child is in fight, we want to stay calm, we want to stay grounded. We want to use soft tones, slow breathing, relaxed body, because we know that when we are regulated, they use our regulation. If they're getting physical, we want to block them. We want to ensure safety for them and for us, but we don't want to come at them and start like pushing them away or picking them up and moving them to the learning lab. That would not have been helpful. We want to lower stimulation. So if it's bright in that room, we're going to reduce that light. If it's too loud, we're going to reduce the volume, put on headphones, whatever we can to help regulate that nervous system. We can use reassuring phrases. So what we know is a lot of the time when our kiddos with a PDA profile, when we go silent, they're like, why are you ignoring me? And that just escalates their emotions. So it's the best that we can give them a reassuring statement like, hey, I see that you're really struggling right now. That's okay. I'm going to sit with you and I'm going to do some deep belly breaths. What we're showing them, we're modeling them how to regulate, and eventually they will pick up on our regulation and that will help them regulate faster. We want to give them space, but we still want to be present. So a lot of the times, kids that are in this fight response, they don't want to be touched. So if you try to hug them in this time, they might push you away, they might hit you, bite you, whatever. If you're too close to them, they might get physical. So we can give them a little bit of space, sit beside them, sit, how we are, a foot away, and just model that deep breath. So what we find a lot of the time with a PDA profile is that kids are typically in that fight response. You might get some of the kiddos that are in the flight response where they are trying to elope, they're trying to escape away from the threat. So we want to ensure that there's the safety of them and of others. We want to, make sure we're guiding them away from exits. We want to make sure that, if we're in an open area, that there's no harm that can come to them, like busy streets or anything like that. We want to give them a place to retreat to, so a safe space. So if they are needing to run, that they know they have like a little fort or a little tent that they can go to and help themselves regulate. And we want to acknowledge their feelings. It's really important that we acknowledge their overwhelm and validate their emotions and let them know that it's nothing to be ashamed of. With a PDA profile, we could see a freeze response. Not so much with a PDA profile. Usually PDA profiles are more reactive, but we could, and in that moment we want to sit quietly with them. We want to use our nonverbal language because they're in that state. We want to just use calm, quiet body language, soft shoulders, soft body movements, nothing too intense. Use minimal words because we know that in a state of any dysregulation, using lots of words can usually dysregulate them further.
Overwhelming. It's an overwhelm, especially if your kiddo's processing at, say, 30 seconds per word, and you're saying all this, and that's just an abundance of overwhelm.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And then fawn. Again, typically speaking, we don't see fawn in a PDA profile just because fawning is that over-pleasing, overcompensating need to avoid that threat or perceived threat. So it's not so often with the PDA profile, but it's good to know that these are natural responses, nervous system responses to threats, perceived threats.
Any input that the nervous system might perceive as a threat or like unsafe to their autonomy and their decision making or their body in any way. So that can look different for anything. It could be a simple request, it can be a demand. Those can be the same thing. Oh, hey, can you go put your shoes on?
Exactly.
No, I'm not going to go put my shoes on just because you told me I'm going to put my shoes on. Now I'm feeling like I don't have a choice to put my shoes on.
Exactly.
All the way in how you communicate it, present it, your tone of voice, your facial expressions, practicing and modeling all these things, it plays a huge role in how your child is going to respond to the sensory input.
I love that you brought up declarative language, saying like, put on your shoes. Well, we know that's not declarative. I love that you brought that up because what we know is that for a PDA profile, declarative language, providing them with the ability to have that autonomy is so crucial. And so by rephrasing what it is that you're trying to say into a declarative can be so beneficial. Okay, so for some ideas on declarative language starters, it can be hard to change your verbiage from an imperative to declarative. It takes time. So be kind to yourself because it's something that takes a lot of practice and you're going to mess up.
We also have a video on declarative language, so we'll get more in depth in that video. So go check it out.
But to get you started, some of the best ways to just start using declarative is I notice. So instead of saying, look over there, where that's a demand, oh, I noticed there's a bird over there, which is declarative. You're allowing that child to decide, do they want to look over there? Is that something that they enjoy to do, is to look over there and look at that bird? You're also allowing them the autonomy to do it. I wonder. Now, when I first started declarative language, I wondered a lot. Everything I said was, I don't know how to rephrase it, so I wonder if you would like to put on your shoes now or in 2 minutes. Again, we're giving them the autonomy, we're giving choices. It's just one of those kind of easy ways to remember how to make it declarative. There's a couple more. I'm thinking about. So this allows curiosity and self-reflection. So I'm thinking about leaving in 5 minutes. I wonder if I should put my shoes on now or in 2 minutes. Again, you're allowing autonomy, you're allowing them to think for themselves because they are the ones that are now you're not giving them a demand, you're just getting them to kind of look around them to say, oh, okay, yeah, I need to do something now. Another one that demonstrates flexible ideas is, I'm not sure, but. So that's a fun one because you're showing that, there's that flexible element to it. I'm not sure if this is right, but I think blah, 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 blah. It's just another way to kind of share your ideas, share emotions without having to place a demand on them.
So what I'm hearing is ways we can help kiddos with a PDA profile is declarative language.
Yes.
How we communicate with them. Giving choices.
Yes.
Giving two choices that you're also okay with either answer.
Right.
You have to be okay with
limiting the choices is also very important to note. If you say you're going to the ice cream shop and there's 100 different ice creams to taste or to try, that can be very overwhelming. Even as an adult, that is incredibly overwhelming. So giving maybe 4 choices instead of 100 just might help alleviate some of that distress.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. So we have declarative language, offering choices.
Yeah.
And even assigning roles. Could be, I'm going to do this while you do that.
Right.
I'm going to go put my shoes on while you finish up your coloring activity. It's giving them the opportunity to notice, oh yeah, Amber's going to go put her shoes on. She did say earlier that it's time to see mom soon. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to be left here while she goes and puts her shoes on, or I don't want to finish this coloring page without her there. I'm going to go get my shoes on too.
Right. Allowing that autonomy to make that choice for themselves.
For sure.
And that is the whole goal, is allowing them to make those choices for themselves, because when you grow up constantly being told what to do, go put your shoes on because we're leaving in a couple minutes. Go do this, go do that. You're never thinking for yourself.
Exactly. I think also giving them predictability.
Yes.
While the because is helpful. I feel like when I was growing up and my dad was like, go put your shoes on. Why? Because I said so. Well, that's helpful, Dad. Thank you so much. But if you're saying, oh, we need to leave in 5 minutes, I'm wondering how fast we can both get our shoes on so that we can get to school on time.
Yeah.
It's giving that, I wonder, declarative language statement, how fast you can get your shoes on, and also giving them the predictability of, oh yeah, I do need shoes to go to school. That is helpful.
Predictability. It's a good point you mentioned about the predictability. So we know that kiddos with a PDA profile, they have extremely high anxiety. And so that drive for autonomy makes them feel like they have control over the situations. And so what we can do is really alleviate some of that anxiety by providing them the predictability. So front loading them with all the information beforehand, by assigning them roles, by saying to a kiddo, hey, you grab the cup, I'll grab the plate. He knows exactly what his role is. He is to go and grab that cup. There's no question about it. He knows exactly what his role entails. You be the stirrer, I'll be the pourer. Again, he knows exactly what his role is. It eases that anxiety.
Absolutely. And I know maybe someone would be like, well, you just gave a demand. It also depends on their co-regulated state and how it came to be about in that moment. If your kiddo is wanting to bake together, they're already wanting to do that activity. So then you assigning roles is, oh, I'm going to go do this while you do that. That is helpful because they're already in this moment with you. But if they're not wanting to go to school and you're saying, go put your shoes on, and they're sitting there like, I'm not putting my shoes on. That is another example of an imperative language statement, which is giving them that fight, flight, freeze, fawn response of like, I can't put my shoes on. I feel like I don't have that choice. My autonomy it's threatened. I can't do this right now. Yeah. This is overwhelming for me.
So today we want your at-home assignment, if you will, is to notice, be mindful the next time your child is dysregulated. If they're, say, looking defiant and are trying to say no, they're trying to have that drive for autonomy, I encourage you to be mindful of that and try to see, are they having a fight, flight, freeze, fawn response to this situation? I wonder if I, as a parent, can change up the way I'm speaking to them and notice how they respond to that. So use declarative language. We're going to be leaving in 5 minutes. I'm going to go put my shoes on and see what they do with that. Just be curious as your starting point. No need to necessarily move mountains,
and be patient with the process.
Yes.
This isn't miracle work. It takes patience and practice. Declarative language is like a second language, if you will. It's not like riding a bike where you don't use it for however long and you just jump right in your natural. No, it's like a second language where if you don't use it all the time, you're going to lose it. So just being mindful of practicing, being patient, and allowing your child to respond how they feel comfortable. It goes a long way, and it helps that sort of PDA profile and those 4F responses.
Right.
So Angela, is the child defiant, or are they just trying to communicate?
They are just trying to communicate. And I know for a lot of parents, it's going to be hard to switch that mindset. But I promise you, if you try to approach it with a more empathetic, a kind approach, and understand that my child is really trying the best they can, then I think that will kind of shift your mindset to, okay, this is them trying to communicate something with me. As their parent, it's my job to try to figure that out. And we can do this together.
We sure can.
Okay, that's all for today. Thanks. Bye, guys.